As art teachers, we're constantly battling corner suns, lollipop trees, the dreaded letter S. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to take on stick figures and teach your students from the very young age of kindergarten how to draw a shape person. Hey there, if we haven't met before, my name is Katie Jarvis and I'm a K-6 elementary art teacher, and I teach at a Title I school just outside of Washington, D.C. In this video, I'm going to tell you about how I love the shape person and how I get my kindergartners to progress through the school year to be able to independently create a shape person by the end of the year. In fact, this makes a fantastic evaluation goal if you are looking for one. What I do at the beginning of the year is I set up a rubric, a very simple rubric with 4 points. A 4 would be drawing a very detailed person. The person would be completely made out of shapes. Things would be pretty much in proportion to each other. And there would be quite a bit of details on the face. Things such as eyebrows, eyelashes, and ears would be included. A 3 on my rubric would have most of the body represented in shapes, maybe some of the detail lost in the face. A 2 on my rubric is when you have a student that's mixing the shapes and the sticks. So maybe they're making a shape for the body and they've got the thick legs, but they've still got the little stick arms, some kind of variation of that. And a 1 would be when a student is still drawing what I think I learned in college as the tadpole, where they're drawing just a basic shape with little sticks kind of jutting out, almost looks like a spider, if that is the level of their person. Now, there are times when I evaluate my kindergartners as they come in at the beginning of the year, and they do not even rank on this rubric. So a 0 would be if they don't even attempt to make a person, or if it's just scribbles, there aren't any recognizable shapes on that person that they are creating. Now, I would introduce this to my students without any directions at the beginning of the year and have them do a baseline data for me. So this would give, where are they just coming into kindergarten without any instruction? Then I'm evaluating them again at the mid-year. I am repeating this shape person lesson in various formats throughout the school year, so they're getting a lot of guided practice. So I get some mid-year data from where they are with drawing the figure, and then I do this again at the very end of the year. I like to, on the very last day of kindergarten, have them draw a person again and then send those 2 drawings, the one from the very first day of school and the last day of school, home together in a little packet so that they can share that with their families. There's one that I just love that I purchased from Teachers Pay Teachers that is all set up for you with the year and everything like that. I will link it down below, but it's something that you could easily make yourself and works great for an evaluation piece. So just to reiterate that again, if I was doing this for my evaluation at the beginning of the year, I gave kindergartners a piece of paper. I said, draw yourself, and I stepped away. I did not say anything else. I just saw, what do they know walking in the door to kindergarten? After I'd already collected those papers, maybe even on another school day, I would begin to teach them how to do a shape person. And the first time I introduce it, I would draw in front of them so that I can interact with them and get answers from them. Also, they can move their body and I can point things out on my own body to show them how the shape person works. And I like to do this by drawing what to do and what not to do. So the first thing I tell them is, I want to draw a person. I don't want to make a stick person, because when we're in art, we know that we're not made out of sticks. If we were made out of sticks, our arms and our legs would constantly be breaking. We're very strong kindergartners, and we are made out of thick shapes. Now, I have another teacher in my district, and he goes through a thing where he tells the students to wave goodbye to the stick person. They're not going to see them anymore in their art room. I thought that was just adorable. I will guide the students through about drawing the person starting with the head. So I would start by asking students, what shape do you think that I should use for the head? And I wait until someone says oval, and then I draw it on my paper. And I say, oh, okay, should we draw a big fat pumpkin head? And then they laugh. And I say, well, what am I doing wrong? Have another student point out that the oval should be going up and down. And then I draw it over here correctly. And I like to use two different colors to make it a little bit more obvious to my students what to do. Then we would begin moving down the body. So we'd say, well, what comes next? Oh, our neck is the next shape we need to draw, holding up the head. Oh, you want me to draw a rectangle? Okay. And you can draw like really long, exaggerated neck, have them giggle, and then correctly draw a neck that is smaller, like a square. Then discuss what shape would work best for the body, pointing out that, there's a straight line here right across from shoulder to shoulder, then our shoulders go down. So they will come to the answer that we should draw a rectangle. So they would need to think about, does a rectangle like this, that's smaller than the neck and the body make sense? No, my head is much, much bigger. So this shape needs to be bigger. It also needs to not be turned this way. The shape needs to be going up and down, but I need to account for where my shoulders are sticking out. So I would show them how I draw a rectangle for the body. Now, if I'm doing this with upper grades, I also draw the hips. So I do a second part of the torso. And occasionally when we get to the end of kindergarten, then I might do that as well. What I would do next then is talk to them about, well, what is coming out of my body? My arms. Okay, I'll draw my arms next. Do my arms come out of my belly button? Do they come out from the middle of my body? No. Oh, where do my arms come up? Oh, my arms come up from the top of the rectangle of my body. So I need to draw my arms up here. And so I draw one arm here. Oh, I'm going to make me raising my hand over here. So I'm going to make another arm going up. So I show them another rectangle coming out there. Okay, should I stop? And a lot of them are like, yeah, that looks good. But you need to point out to them that this, what I've just drawn, is T-Rex arms, okay? We don't want to have these little tiny arms that we can't really use. We want to be able to do things like eat and draw and paint. We have to draw both parts of our arms. You need to break down for them that there are two parts to the arm. There is the muscles, and then there is the part right here. So I'm going to draw a second rectangle, add it on there to make my arm. So where that's connecting there is an elbow, and you could have your students draw a little circle there to show where those shapes are coming together. We'll talk next about the legs, and we'll say, oh, should we just make a rectangle for legs like we did the arms? Does that work? Well, if we were like that, it would mean that we're, like this tall. We're down on our knees. Is anybody in here this tall? No, we have the muscle part of our legs, and then we have the shins. So when I draw it on mine, I'm going to do two rectangles coming out of the body. So I'm going to draw that second one as well, showing where it comes together, where my knees come together, where they can bend, that's my knees. So I'm going to draw that shape right there, thinking about, well, what shape works for the feet? And I have them either draw an oval or a rectangle. It's kind of up to them how they want to do that for the feet. We go back in and think about, well, what shape works for hands? A lot of them will try to make hands where they make a circle. They see the palm of their hand as being that circle, but then they'll do this, the little spider fingers. Well, our fingers really look like that? No, just like our elbows and our knees can bend, our fingers can bend too. So we want to show our fingers as shapes. So we draw a circle for the palm of our hands, and then we go back in and we draw French fry fingers. So you'll need to have them count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 fingers, 1 thumb, and draw those also onto their paper. In these initial lessons, I will just have my students create the face on their own, and I will really just focus on these shapes and putting them together to make the body. Now, throughout the school year, I'm giving my students ample opportunities to practice this skill. I don't start off the year teaching the kindergartners how to draw the face. I just let them fill that in. But as the year goes on, I start to have them notice some things on their face. One of the things I try to point out is that the eyes are in the middle, and then our eyes are not touching each other. So they try to find the middle, and you can have them draw a rainbow to kind of get started with that football shape of eyes, and then close the rainbow. But you'll want to make sure everybody gets that rainbow before you talk about drawing another rainbow. And sometimes I will have the students turn the paper around and just draw another rainbow again, because some of them are really intimidated by making this leaf or football shape. So turning that paper around makes it a little bit easier. Inside of the eyeball, we have a colorful part of our eye. So that is a circle. So they would draw that circle next. So my eyes are blue, so this is the blue part of my eye. Inside, we have the black dot, the pupil, so students could draw that in. And then I teach them that when we're wearing sunglasses in the summer, our sunglasses sit on our ears. So our ears are right next to where our eyes are. So our ears are like a semicircle. It's a kindergarten word that they learn in math. So I would draw that on either side. And then I do a call and response with them. I'll say, class, class, class. They say, yes, yes, yes. I'll say, oh, you can hear me. You can hear me because there's a hole inside of your ear pulling in that sound. So we'll draw another shape to show that inside part of their ear. We'll look at those eyes and point out how the person looks like they're very scared and wide awake, and that our eyes don't stay open all the time. When we're sleeping or when we blink, our eyes close. So I will instruct them on how to draw the eyelid by just having them start on one side and going up and over to the other side. I will have them go in and draw eyelashes like a candy cane or like a Nike swoosh. And we'll talk about how we're not getting really close up in somebody's face. We're seeing them from farther away, like you do in a school picture. So we're only seeing the longest eyelashes, the ones that are closest to our ears on the outside of our eyes. So I'm curving this, like I said, like a candy cane, like a Nike swoosh. I'm only making like 3 or 4 on the outside edge here. We do have eyelashes on the bottom, but you don't see those again unless you're really close up in somebody's face. Now, above our eyes, and you can measure things on your face like about 1 finger away, right? From our eye is our eyebrows. So I have the students starting in kindergarten start by drawing furry rainbows. So they draw a rainbow and they curve it, and they just keep lifting up their pencil, their crayon, whatever they're drawing with, to draw those eyebrows. Then I have students feel on their face, well, what's between your eyes? Okay. Oh, it's your nose, because when you're wearing those sunglasses and they're wrapped around your ears, the sunglasses don't fall down because they're sitting on your nose. So your nose actually starts up here. So for kindergarten, I just have them draw 2 little lines for the top of their nose. For the bottom of their nose, we don't want to show the holes in our nose so that we appear like a pig. So what we're going to draw is the sides of our nose. So I just explained this. We draw a letter C. We draw a letter C again. We draw a letter C upside down. That upside down letter C is just the tip of our nose. They would measure down, again, 1 finger, and they can do this in touch on their own face as you're guiding them through this. So about 1 finger away, we would draw the mouth. And I have them draw just like what I say is like a preschool mouth, where you just draw a line. And then we would talk about how to draw a top lip and a bottom lip. And this totally looks like a banana. So they draw the lip on the top and the lip on the bottom. So I give my students ample opportunities to practice this throughout the year. After I had demonstrated in front of everyone what to do and what not to do, I would do a guided drawing where I would go back in and draw the head and then have the students draw the head. Now, I see a lot of teachers posting about how can be a really frustrating thing for their students because the students are always going like this, like this, like this, showing it to them. What I will do is say, I know that you were listening when I made my drawing up on the board, and I'm going to be drawing along with you, but I'm going to close my eyes. I want to be surprised at what you do on your paper, and I'm not going to peek until the end. You ask yourself if it looks right. If it doesn't look right, you can change it and adjust it. I'll even give them the opportunity, if when they are done drawing it with me together, if they want to start over, they can do that at the end. So I would draw the head, they would draw the head, I would draw the neck, they would draw the neck. And we would have a day where we practice just like that. And the paper would simply just be for practice. As I move through the years, one of my favorite projects is to do a Lego career person. So they're doing a personal Lego of themselves. I have them use poster board that is pre-cut into the shape for the body, the head, and the neck. The arms are just rectangles, so they have to slide them around to make the two parts of the arms coming out of the top of the body, and they need to trace two parts for the legs using those tracers. Next, when we're creating a person, we would talk about ground line, about where is this person standing. They're not floating in the air, so we need to draw where they're standing on the ground. We need to give the clues, is this person inside or is this person outside, by what we put on the bottom of our picture, but also for the details that we add on the top of our picture. In the example with the Lego career portraits, we talk about what the person would be wearing for the job. What a firefighter wears is very different from what a dancer might wear. And we'll talk about this from what is on their head all the way down to their feet, because a firefighter might wear boots for their job, where a ballerina would wear ballet slippers. So we talk about those differences and have them put those things and those details into their artwork. We talk about adding details for hair and things, if you have glasses, to personalize it and make it look more like them. As the year progresses, we would do this same idea of using the shape person, but this time with collage. So the collage that I like to do with my students is they do themselves, again, because this is kindergarten, they're very me focused. They do themselves and they are doing their favorite special, which is something that they really like to share with you. So I have a planning sheet where they have all the choices that we have at our school and they circle their favorite. On that planning sheet, this is the first time in the year, just kind of midway through the year, where my kindergartners will really stop and plan something out. But I have them practice again with me. I'm drawing the head, you're drawing the head. I'm drawing the neck, you're drawing the neck. And they're drawing themselves. Then we have them add the details. What is the ground line? Are you in PE? Is that your favorite special? Are you in art? So they're drawing the setting of where are they? Then they draw what they are doing and what they look like and what they are wearing. And then this is a paper collage. So then they're learning how to cut those different shapes and to glue those shapes down together to create that person, building still on that skill of creating a shape person. Near the end of the school year, I like to do a Super Me project where they create themselves as a little superhero, and that is done as a painting. So again, they're getting the practice with the shape person. I also, if time permits, if there's not too many snow days, we'll do an underwater type of a summer portrait of themselves as well. And that one is typically painted with temper cake. So students are getting the practice of doing this over and over and over again, and getting some guided practice where I'm drawing, they're drawing. So that builds up their confidence to do this project and create a shape person independently once they get to first grade. It is a fantastic idea to share your shape person resources with your kindergarten team. Often the kindergarten teachers are drawing in front of their students on the board. They're creating these beautiful anchor charts, but they may still be drawing stick people. So to reinforce how this looks in art to the students, the teachers can add this into their posters and their visuals as well. When the kindergarten students are doing those kindergarten assignments where they are drawing themselves and they're illustrating their stories, the kindergarten teachers can be reminding them about what you're teaching them about the different body parts in art class. I would also share this information with your kindergarten parents. Parents are often drawing and coloring with their students at home, and they can be practicing these things as well to help complement what you are doing in the art room. Now, the shape person, as the students get more skilled in this throughout the year, this skill can be transferred to drawing other things using shapes. I do a lesson where my kindergarten students draw a big map of the zoo, and we break down the different animals into the shapes that we see. So it's a skill that really builds on themselves and students can really benefit from. If you set a solid foundation for this in kindergarten, they will be amazing drawers and more confident when they get into first grade.